Before she could even speak, Victor's hand clutched her chin. The gold ring on his pinky dug into her skin, sending a sharp pain. "Stay out of this. She's mine," he said, nodding at his bodyguard. As he turned away, the scent of his cologne mixed with cigar smoke hit her. "Marcus said you were a smart investment, and he was right," he murmured, his finger trailing over the snake tattoo on her collarbone. "Even your tattoo is my favorite style." The leather seats of the private jet glinted coldly. Sophia stared at the clouds streaking past the window, suddenly recalling what the makeup artist had said. Temporary tattoos smudge if they get wet. So even the weapon she'd hidden for resistance had long been accounted for by them. Standing in front of the dressing mirror, Sophia ran her fingertip over the new temporary snake tattoo on her collarbone. The makeup artist adjusted its edges with tweezers. The clear adhesive pulled taut against her skin. "This temporary glue smudges with water, especially hot water," the artist warned. "If you have to film a water scene, tell me in advance. I'll bring touch-up dye." Sophia hummed in response, her finger brushing the snake's head. Beneath the cool adhesive, her skin still throbbed from where Marcus had gripped her waist the day before. The makeup artist sprayed her hair with hairspray for the third time. The harsh chemical smell mingled with the sweet scent of loose powder, making Sophia wrinkle her nose. In the mirror, she saw the words "Forbidden Passion" set on the backdrop behind her, piles of red satin that looked like unopened wounds. "Lower it 2 more centimeters," Marcus, the director, suddenly said from behind her. He reached out and tugged at her lace camisole. His nails scraped her abdomen. "Audiences don't pay to watch you play a nun. Show enough skin, and people will watch." Sophia grabbed the neckline on instinct, her nails digging in her palm. Fresh half-moon marks overlaying the red scratches left by her own fingers during yesterday's crying scene. 3 days earlier, her agent Tom's voice echoed in her head. He'd slammed 2 scripts onto the hotel coffee table. Memories of the same films for 9 months and pays a third of what Forbidden Passion does. Besides, the director said your image isn't right for the intellectual watchmaker's daughter. On the coffee table that day had sat a bottle of champagne Marcus had sent. Its label bore a snake logo, identical to the tattoo now on her collarbone. When the clapperboard snapped shut, Sophia's gaze flicked to the stack of portfolios beside the monitor. The cover featured Lena, a rising actress, the same girl Sophia had seen in Marcus's office 3 days prior. She suddenly thought of last year's acting competition judges panel. Best actor Alan's hand, still warm, had reached for hers. "You're so talented," he'd said. "You're made for roles with depth." She wondered if that same hand was now flipping through Lena's portfolio. Marcus suddenly grabbed her waist from behind, his grip so tight it made her stumble. The cologne on his cuffs mixed with the smell of tobacco, exactly the same as when he'd discussed the script with her at the hotel. "Make the expression more painful," he shouted toward the monitor, his voice harsh through the speakers. "Imagine being forced to do something you hate, like being made to take off your clothes." In the instant the flashbulbs popped, Sophia burst out laughing. Not on purpose. It was a hoarse, tearful laugh that bubbled up from her throat. Marcus threw the script. The snake crest on its cover hit the corner of the table. He cursed, "Worthless," but she laughed harder until the makeup artist rushed over with a cotton pad, smearing black mascara down her cheeks like tears. Late at night, the hotel hallway was carpeted in dark red. Tom blocked the elevator, the third button on his suit hanging loose, just as disheveled as his panicked expression. "The Paris Daily wants to interview you," he said, shoving his phone screen toward her. The journalist's questions were listed on it. The first read, "As a fresh voice in cinema, how do you balance art and explicitness? Stick to the script I gave you. Don't mention Marcus. Don't mention the explicit scenes." Sophia stared at the loose thread on his suit, suddenly recalling the first day of filming Forbidden Passion. Tom had handed her a script card then, too. "Read it word for word. Don't add your own thoughts." She brushed a strand of hair behind her ear, her nail grazing the small mole on her earlobe, the one Alan had called distinctive. "Tell them I was forced to film explicit scenes," she said. Marcus even said, "Show more skin or get out." Tom's phone clattered to the carpet. The screen lit up, displaying a WeChat message from Marcus. "Make sure she doesn't run her mouth. We're shooting the Variety cover next week." Sophia bent to pick it up, deliberately pressing her finger to the screen to delete the message. "Are you insane?" Tom snatched the phone back, his voice a whisper. "Marcus will pull funding. He'll blacklist you in this industry." Sophia kicked off her high heels. Their tips left small dents in the carpet. "Pull funding." She smiled as the elevator doors slid open, revealing her distorted reflection, the snake tattoo on her collarbone warped by her camisole. "The trailer's views will triple. He can't afford to let me go." The elevator mirror showed Tom's face. He was secretly texting Marcus, his thumb flying across the screen as if hiding something, but on the day of the press conference. Sophia had mixed ice in her mineral water. Her fingers curled around the bottle. Condensation beaded in her palm. On stage, Marcus talked eloquently. Forbidden passion explores human nature. It's a breakthrough for art. The gold ring on his pinky glinted, identical to the one on Victor, the film's investor. Sophia counted the crystal pendants on the chandelier. 1, 2. When she reached 17, she stood up and twisted the bottle cap open. "This is the truth you wanted," she said, her voice steady. The arc of water she poured was more perfect than in her rehearsals. Marcus had had his assistant adjust the angle the day before. "Make sure the cameras catch your angry but resilient expression," he'd said. Marcus froze, as if paused. His suit front was soaked through, the snake crest darkening. She heard the buzz of dozens of cameras, like swarms of bees in her ears in the car on the way back. Tom refreshed social media frantically, his fingers flying across the screen. "We're trending third." He shoved the tablet into her lap. The hashtag Sophia is brave had over 20,000 comments. Marcus just released a statement. "He's suing you for defamation." Sophia's thumb traced the edge of the water bottle cap, the plastic ridges numbing her fingertip. She remembered Marcus whispering in her ear in the dressing room. "Aim well, and you'll be on the Variety cover next week. I'll add 100,000 euros to your salary." Now his lawsuit announcement was climbing the trending list. The third hashtag was hashtag Sophia bravely fights workplace harassment. A top comment read, "You go, sister. Don't let the bad guys win." Advance tickets for Forbidden Passion are sold out. Tom suddenly grabbed her wrist, his nails digging into the fake bruises on her forearm. She'd painted them with blusher the day before to make her victim image more convincing. "Do you know what this means? We're going to be famous." Sophia said nothing, just stared out the window. Paris's neon lights cast fragmented shadows on the glass, like her tangled thoughts. It meant Marcus was laughing backstage like a well-fed cat. It meant Tom would get a huge commission. It meant she'd once again become someone else's pawn. She thought of 17 hours earlier, when she'd stood on a stage holding a Best Newcomer award. Alan had sat in the audience, raising his glass to her. Now she clutched the ice water bottle used for publicity. The condensation dripped onto her knee, as cold as the Seine's winter waters. "What about Alan?" Tom suddenly spoke, pulling a bottle of champagne from his bag. He popped the cork. Foam splashed onto Sophia's snake tattoo. "He's co-starring with last year's Venice Film Festival nominee, Eva. She's more talented than you, and more obedient." Sophia looked down at the tattoo. The foam dissolved slowly on the adhesive, revealing a sliver of her real skin. She remembered the text she'd received that morning from memories of the Seine's crew. "We're sorry you dropped out. We found new actress." She hadn't deleted it. It sat in the bottom folder of her phone, alongside the encouraging text Alan had sent her years ago. Her phone vibrated. A stranger's number appeared. The message was short. "Ms. Sophia, this is Claire from the Women's Rights Association. We heard you faced workplace injustice. Do you need legal help? We have evidence of Marcus's past abuse of power with actresses." Sophia flipped the phone face down on the seat. The leather still reeked of the cigar Marcus had smoked the night before. He'd come to the hotel to discuss cover shoot details, flicking ash onto the carpet and leaving small burn marks. She remembered Claire. They'd met at a charity event once. The woman had worn a black suit, her gaze steady. "Women shouldn't be treated like commodities," she'd said. "Tomorrow's the Lou Parisian interview," Tom said, roughly dabbing at her smudged eyeliner as if wiping a table. "Remember to cry, but not too hard. We need a resilient victim, not someone begging for sympathy." He pried open her clenched fist and pressed a sedative into her palm. "Take this. Don't lose control again tomorrow." The pill stuck to her tongue, bitter and slow to dissolve. Sophia counted the streetlights on the overpass. 1, 2, until her vision blurred. She suddenly remembered the acting competition judge's question, "Why do you want to be an actress?" Her answer had been, "To be a light on the Seine, illuminating stories no one else sees." Now that light was shattered in the tabloid's flashbulbs, in Tom's champagne foam, in the glint of Marcus's gold ring. Marcus just called. Tom leaned in suddenly, his breath hot against her ear, matching the rhythm of Marcus's breathing when he'd discussed the script on set 3 days earlier. He said the angle of the water-throwing video was perfect, better than expected. Sophia suddenly rolled down the window. Night air rushed in, dispersing the hairspray fumes and tangling her hair. Her voice drifted on the wind, soft but firm. "Tell them. I'm holding a press conference tomorrow. Are you crazy?" Tom's voice shot up. "We agreed in the contract. Lay low after the interview, then film a new movie when the hype dies down." "Alone," she cut him off, her nails digging into the leather stitching on the car door, scraping away the last of the cigar smell. "Tell them I'm exposing more industry scandals, including Marcus and Victor's collusion." In the rearview mirror, she watched Tom text Marcus. The blue glow of the phone screen lit up his smirk, like a snake flicking its tongue. The sedative finally took effect. Sophia leaned back at her seat, counting her heartbeat as drowsiness washed over her. As the car passed the Musi d'Orsay, She vaguely saw the memories of the Sane poster being taken down. The actress on it wore a light blue dress and a pearl hairpin, exactly the outfit Sophia had worn to her audition. In its place hung a giant still from Forbidden Passion, Sophia in a lace camisole, the snake tattoo on her collarbone staring back, harsh and bright. At T3 a.m., the hotel room phone rang. Sophia picked it up. Marcus's voice, distorted by a voice changer, sounded like static from an old radio. "Little snake, you're smarter than I thought. You know how to use scandals for hype." In the background, she heard clinking champagne glasses and a woman's laugh, unmistakably Lena's. She stared at the crack in the ceiling, snaking from the head of the bed to the window. The makeup artist's words popped in her head. "This temporary glue smudges with water." She got up and walked to the bathroom, turning on the faucet. Hot water ran over her hands. She pressed them gently to the tattoo on her collarbone. Sure enough, the edge of the snake's head turned white. She dabbed it with a tissue, and a piece of the adhesive came off, revealing her real skin underneath. Tomorrow's press conference, she'd knock over a glass of water on purpose. She let everyone see the snake dissolving on her collarbone. The label Marcus had given her, now her weapon to fight back. Outside, an early morning street cleaner's broom swished across the pavement. Sophia felt for the pearl hairpin under her pillow, the one Alan's assistant had tucked into her hair when delivering a contract. "Alan said you look good in classic styles," she'd said. "Keep it." The pearl was slightly chipped, digging into her palm, a reminder of a possibility she'd snuffed out herself. If she hadn't dropped out of memories of the Sane, would everything be different now? When Tom knocked and entered, Sophia was practicing a trembling smile in the mirror. The mirror reflected the script on her nightstand. Memories of the Sane, its title page stained yellow with coffee. Alan's signature was still there, but she'd painted over it with red nail polish, turning it into a twisted snake. She picked up the nail polish brush and dragged it across the signature again. The red paint bled into the paper like dried blood, but a notification pinged. Tom leaned over to look. "Victor's private jet just landed at Charles de Gaulle. He wants to meet you. Said he has a collaboration in mind." Sophia set down the nail polish brush, her nails still sticky with red paint. "Collaboration?" She smiled. "He wants me to be his new collectible. Are you sure you want to wear this?" Tom tugged at the sheer gauze dress on her shoulders, thin as mist. "Mr. Victor likes classic beauty. I brought you a cheap pal." He pulled a pearl necklace from his bag. The cool pearls slid across his fingers, reminding her of the costume from Memories of the Sane. The light blue dress had a pearl necklace, just like I in the dressing mirror. Her snake tattoo had been touched up 3 times. The makeup artist had used stronger adhesive. "This won't come off easily." Tom suddenly lowered his voice, leaning close to her ear. "Marcus transferred the settlement money. €500,000, just enough to buy the Hermes bag you're carrying tonight." Sophia said nothing, just picked up the pearl necklace and fastened it around her neck. The cold pearls pressed against her skin, exactly the same temperature as Victor's hand when he'd grabbed her throat last time. The air conditioning in the airport VIP lounge made her knees turn blue. She wore the cheap how Tom had prepared, the pearl button at the neck dug into her throat. Victor's bodyguard glanced at her fake birth certificate. It said she was born in 1998, but she was already 28, and frowned. "The watermark on this birth certificate is fake, isn't it?" Sophia's heart skipped a beat. Her fingers tightened on the cheap how's hem. Then Victor walked over, clapping the bodyguard on the shoulder. His Italian accent, thick with cologne, washed over her. "Stay out of this, she's mine." He grabbed her chin. The gold ring on his pinky dug into her skin. "Marcus told me you're a smart investment." He wasn't lying. The seats on the private jet were dark brown leather, the smell so strong it made Sophia nauseous. Victor handed her a glass of champagne. Condensation dripped onto her cheap how, leaving a dark stain. She noticed a faint ring mark on his ring finger, deep, as if a wedding band had been worn for years and recently removed. "Don't worry, little snake," he said, smiling as he squeezed the back of her neck. His grip as tight as Marcus's on her waist. "I collect art. Age doesn't matter, only how special it is." The fountain at the Roman villa ran all night. The sound of water mixed with Victor's snoring, keeping Sophia awake. In the morning, a maid brought breakfast. Under the silver tray was a check for €1,000,000, with a note, "Buy yourself some nice jewelry." "Mr. Victor went to London," the maid said, avoiding her eyes. "He said you can visit the nearby jewelry stores. Put everything on his account." Sophia tucked the check into a drawer. Inside was the first contract Marcus had given her, its edges moldy. "The Party B shall comply with all the Party A's filming requirements, including but not limited to explicit scenes." She compared the signature on the check to the one on the contract. They were identical. They'd been in this together from the start. The jewelry store windows were polished so bright they reflected her puffy eyes. A sales clerk enthusiastically showed her a sapphire necklace, its pendant shaped like a snake with diamond eyes. Ma'am, this necklace would suit you perfectly. It matches the color of your eyes. Sophia's heart lurched. Alan had said the same thing once. He'd held the memories of the same script, pointing to a line. The watchmaker's daughter has eyes like sapphires. He'd smiled. You're perfect for this. No, thank you, she said, turning to leave, only to hear a familiar voice. Marcus, Sophia? What a coincidence. Marcus stood at the counter with Lena on his arm. Lena had a new snake tattoo on her collarbone. Permanent, not temporary. I see Victor's collectible needs some fresh air. Lena giggled, linking her arm through Marcus's and touching her tattoo proudly. Director Marcus picked it for me. He said it'll make me famous, just like it did for Sister Sophia. Sophia said nothing, just stared at the snake's head on Lena's collarbone. Identical to her own. She turned and walked out, her high heels clicking on the marble floor, like applause for herself. When a downpour hit, Sophia squatted by the Trevi fountain, counting coins. The coins glinted in the water, like countless eyes watching her. Victor called, his voice slurred. I'm having a party at the villa next week. Wear the green dress I bought you. There are important people to meet. She hung up and stuffed the phone in her bag. The reflection in the water shattered into 1,000 pieces, from the raindrops hitting the surface and from the shattering of her own heart. The crystal chandelier at the villa party made her dizzy. Light filtered through wine glasses, casting colored splotches on the walls. A countess grabbed her wrist, chuckling. Her red nail polish left marks on Sophia's skin. Victor loves fragile things like you, she said. They look delicate, but they sell for a good price. Sophia pulled her hand back, leaving red streaks on her wrist. She glanced toward the champagne tower. Marcus and Victor were toasting, laughing like they shared a secret. Here's a gift for you. Victor suddenly appeared behind her, pressing a key into her palm. The metal was cold, digging into her skin. A clock shop by the lake. The clocks don't work anymore, but it's perfect for someone as precise as you. Amid the laughter, Sophia touched the bruise on her lower back, left by Victor the day before. Be obedient, he'd said. I have ways to make you comply. The bruise still hurt, a reminder of her place. The day the doctor announced Victor's death, Sophia was winding an antique clock. She'd brought it from the lakefront shop. Its face was rusted, its hands stuck at 12, just like the old watchmaker's clock in Memories of the Same. When the lawyer coughed, breaking the silence in the living room. The lakefront clock shop shall be bequeathed to Miss Sophia. All other assets shall go to the legal heirs. The other lovers erupted in outrage. The sound of red nails scraping the will was like cockroaches scuttling. Why her? A woman in a mink coat screamed. She's just an actress. Sophia ignored them, continuing to wind the clock. The key jammed, just like her life. Later, she went to the clock shop. The dust made her cough. An appraiser tapped the glass counter, his voice full of regret. The movements are all gone. It's just an empty case, worth next to nothing. Sunlight streamed through a hole in the roof, falling on a ledger. Victor's scribbled note read, not worth fixing. Useless. You could turn it into a luxury boutique, the real estate agent said, holding up a brochure. Chinese tourists love this retro style. Look at the shop next door, it's packed. When Sophia signed the contract, she discovered the shop Victor had left her was an illegal structure, at risk of being demolished. She thought of the legal heirs the lawyer had mentioned, and suddenly understood. Victor had never intended to give her anything real. She'd been just another pawn, to be discarded when used up. Over the sound of the construction crew's drills, Sophia called Marcus repeatedly. On the 10th call, he finally answered. Background noise of a film set, and Lena's laughter filled the line. Little snake? Marcus's voice dripped with sarcasm. I thought you'd gone down with the old man. What? You want more favors from me? Sophia hung up and threw the phone to the ground. The screen shattered, like her heart. The champagne at the grand opening was more expensive than at Victor's funeral. Tom stood at the door, greeting guests with a smile. A snake brooch, identical to Marcus's, pinned his lapel. A Chinese tour guide waved a flag, herding a group of tourists over. Everyone, this is where Forbidden Passion was filmed. They even have signed photos of Miss Sophia inside. Tourists crowded around, holding up phones. Sophia stood behind the counter, staring at their excited faces, strange, alien. She glanced at the window, where a Forbidden Passion poster hung, sent by Marcus, with a note, to boost your popularity. You're welcome. The night the heavy rain shorted the temporary electrical circuits, floodwater poured into the counter. Sophia knelt in the dark, groping around, her fingers brushing a cold metal box hidden in the safe. She opened it to find the first contract Marcus had given her, its edges moldy and a few photos. A younger Victor and Marcus stood on a film set, with a stranger between them. The woman had a faded snake tattoo on her ankle. Sophia stared at the woman in the photo, suddenly remembering Tom's words. Marcus used to promote another actress. No one knows what happened to her. So she hadn't been the first. And she wouldn't be the last. A letter from the tax office. The postman said early in the morning, slipping a registered letter through the door. When Sophia opened it, an old photo fell out, the same one from the safe. On the back, a line was added. 1995, Paris film set. The secret of the snake tattoo. She flipped the photo over, staring at the stranger's ankle. The tattoo was in the same spot, the same design, faded like a memory nearly lost. Later, the clock shop was demolished. Homeless, Sophia took a job at a fast food restaurant. The kitchen timer suddenly beeped. Emma, now a famous actress, star of New Forbidden, a remake of Forbidden Passion, deliberately threw a rag in front of her, chewing gum loudly. Porn star, she said. Time to wipe the tables. Don't slack off. My name is Sophia, she said, clutching the rag. Grease seeped under her nails, impossible to wash away. Emma laughed harder, leaning against the fridge. I heard you only ate 2 grapes a meal when filming that trash, just to stay thin. Serves you right, being this miserable now. The kitchen erupted in laughter. Someone mimicked the moans from Forbidden Passion. Ugly, cruel, T3 a.m. The hum of the freezers was deafening. Sophia counted the stacks of hamburger patties. 1, 2, until her eyes stung. She heard Emma muttering to the night manager. They say she fainted from anemia last time. The doctor said she has electrolyte imbalance. Serves her right for not eating. Ketchup? She asked the 57th customer, her voice mechanical. A drunk man leaned in, his breath reeking of alcohol. Hey, aren't you that porn actress, Sophia? What happened? You look way older than in the movies. The cash register light revealed lettuce stuck between his teeth. Disgusting. Rain streaked the fast food restaurant's windows, blurring the neon lights outside. In the staff bathroom, Sophia found a snake drawn in lipstick with the words washed up bitch underneath. She scrubbed at it, leaving red streaks on the tile, like blood. Her hospital bracelet slipped out from under her sleeve, from when she'd fainted from anemia, and the doctor had said she needed rest for her electrolyte imbalance. The electrolyte imbalance is back, the nurse said, frowning as she inserted the needle. Sophia winced as the needle pierced her vein. You've lost 3 kilos this week. Are you still not eating properly? The nutrient solution in the 4 bag swayed, casting shadows on her protruding collarbone. She said nothing, just stared at the ceiling light, dim, like the key light on the Memories of the Sane set. After being discharged, Sophia set up a stall at a flea market, selling hand-knitted scarves. The morning sun made her dizzy. She counted the stitches in a scarf. 1, 2. People would pretend to browse, then pull out their phones. Can I take a photo with my idol? They'd say. I watched Forbidden Passion when I was a kid. She kept knitting, silent. She heard the click of cameras, mixed with whispers. Porn star? What a waste. 50 euros, she repeated to an elderly woman, her voice hoarse. The woman suddenly pulled at the scarf, revealing a scrap of Memories of the Sane script paper, which Sophia had used to wrap the yarn. Isn't this the Memories of the Sane script? And that's Best Actor Alan's signature. The other vendors turned to stare, pointing and murmuring. Sophia quickly tucked the scarf away. The edge of the script paper tore, exposing Alan's signature, its strokes still clear. Soon after, dizziness washed over her. Her vision went black, and she collapsed. The wail of an ambulance cut through the market. Before losing consciousness, she clung tightly to the pearl hairpin, the one Alan had given her. Later, the flower vendor next to her said, her fingers were white from gripping that hairpin. She wouldn't let go. When she woke again, she was in the ICU, tubes running into her arms. Switch from 4 to nasal feeding, the doctor said to the nurse, his voice soft. Sophia stared at the crack in the ceiling, remembering the peeling mural in Victor's villa. It had depicted the Seine, with a small boat on its waters, like her old dream. When the feeding tube was inserted in her nose, she hallucinated the smell of the Roman fountain's stagnant water and the coffee from the Memories of the Sane set. That was when Lyon appeared. He was a hospital orderly, wearing a faded military uniform with frayed cuffs, exactly like Alan's costume from that old film. Have some soup, he said, placing a thermos on the nightstand. The spoon clinked against her teeth, a sound like the last tick of a clock shop's dying hand. Sophia didn't drink, just stared at the cuffs of his uniform. Lyon scratched his head, embarrassed. I wore this when I served in Beirut. Kept it as a souvenir. When the nurse came to change her for, the TV was replaying the Cannes Film Festival awards. Emma wore a red gown. The snake-shaped sapphire necklace around her neck glinted. It was a gift from Marcus, identical to the one he'd given Sophia years ago. I want to thank director Marcus, Emma said, smiling into the microphone. 20 years ago, he discovered my artistic inspiration, Ms. Sophia. Without her real-life experience, there would be no new Forbidden today. The camera cut to the audience. The gold ring on Marcus's pinky glinted. He raised his glass to Emma, grinning triumphantly. Sophia suddenly ripped out the 4-needle. Blood droplets splattered on the medical record, like the mineral water she'd poured on Marcus. Lyon grabbed her trembling wrist. His fingers brushed the bruises on her forearm, marks she'd drawn to track her weight, now blending into a faint snake shape. "Don't move," he said, his voice soft. "You'll get an infection." It reminded her of the old watchmaker's line in Memories of the Sane. Clocks can be fixed. Broken hearts are harder. As the nurse reinserted the needle, Emma's laughter on TV was as shrill as nails on glass. "I've studied all the classics secretly," Emma said, winking at the camera. "Especially the educational ones, like Miss Sophia's Forbidden Passion." Sophia's nails dug into her palm, still stained with grease from wiping tables. She remembered Marcus saying, "This film will make you famous." It had, just not for her. She'd become a stepping stone. "Time for your medicine," Lyon said, handing her a glass of water. Several daisy petals floated at the bottom. "My sister had anemia too," he said, embarrassed. She always put daisy petals in her water. Said it helped with the iron. Sophia took the glass. The daisy's fragrance mixed with the medicine's bitterness on her tongue. She suddenly remembered the daisies fans had given her 20 years ago. She'd thought them tacky, tossing them into the hotel trash. Now she realized they'd been the most sincere gift she'd ever received. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. Lyon quickly stuffed something into his coat. "Hiding something?" Sophia asked, her voice hoarse that Lyon's ears turned red. He pulled a piece of paper from his coat. "It's an anti-cancer diet. My sister had cancer. This helped her. I thought you might need it too." Sophia said nothing, just stared at the paper. Its edges yellowed, covered in his sister's handwritten notes. Outside, the rain grew heavier, tapping against the window. Sophia counted the 4 drops. 1, 2. Suddenly, Marcus's voice came from the TV. "True art requires sacrifice." Miss Sophia understood that once. Unfortunately, she lost her way. She looked up. The camera panned to the gold ring on his pinky, its pattern identical to the wax seal on the contract in Victor's safe. "Change the channel," she said, her voice shaking. Lyon fumbled with the remote. The old TV crackled. A midnight movie was playing, Forbidden Passion. Her younger self stared back from the screen, in a lace camisole, the snake tattoo on her collarbone bright and harsh. "I'll go buy hot chocolate," Lyon said, hurrying to his feet. A DVD slipped from his military pants pocket. Sophia picked it up. It was a bootleg copy of Memories of the Sane. The actress on the cover wore a light blue dress and a pearl hairpin, exactly the outfit Sophia had worn to her audition. Alan's hand hovered over her shoulder, as if brushing away invisible dust. The rain suddenly intensified. Sophia struggled to get out of bed, the 4-tube pulling painfully. She held the DVD, her finger tracing the cover, suddenly remembering the day that poster was shot. "Relax," Alan had said. "You are the watchmaker's daughter." Marcus had yelled from the side. "Hurry up. Stop wasting time." The vending machine at the end of the hallway glowed blue. As Lyon bent to fish out coins, an old military knife peeked from his waistband. Its handle was wrapped in faded red string. "Knitted by his sister," he'd said. "I've carried it since she died." Sophia suddenly thought of the red string Alan had worn on his wrist during action scenes. "You need to rest," the nurse said, supporting her as she swayed. The Memories of the Sane DVD dug into her thigh through her hospital gown. The nurse suddenly lowered her voice, leaning close. "My mother was your fan. She said the test screening of Memories of the Sane was amazing. You should have won a César Award." But it never got released. Sophia's heart jolted. A test screening? She'd never known. Back in the room, Lyon was cleaning his glasses. A cup of hot chocolate sat on the nightstand. Marshmallows melted in it like little clouds. "I added cinnamon," he mumbled. "The doctor said it's good for anemia, so I put some in." The TV suddenly cut to an entertainment bulletin. Emma lifted her skirt on the red carpet, revealing a snake tattoo on her ankle, dotted with Swarovski crystals. "This is a tribute to my artistic inspiration," she said, smiling into the microphone. She lost her way, but her experience gave me so much. Sophia suddenly knocked over the hot chocolate. Brown liquid spread across the sheets, like the mineral water she'd poured on Marcus. Lyon scrambled to wipe it up, his sleeve falling back to reveal a ferocious scar, a bullet wound from the Beirut War. "This scar, it's from around the same time as your tattoo," he said quietly. The words were like a dull knife, prizing open a crack in her memory. She remembered Victor's expression when he'd first seen her ankle, like an antique dealer spotting a fake. "You look just like her," he'd said, "especially the tattoo." Raindrops hammered the window. Lyon pulled an old lunchbox from a plastic bag. When he opened it, the smell of burnt food wafted out. A few pieces of overcooked carrot, arranged into a lopsided smile. "I tried making the vegetable porridge from the diet," he said, embarrassed. "It's a bit burnt. Don't hate it." Sophia picked up the spoon and took a bite. The porridge was too salty. The carrots were mushy. But she ate it. For the first time in years, someone had cooked for her. The TV played a trailer for New Forbidden. Emma lay among red satin sheets, her pose identical to Sophia's in the original film. Marcus's voice boomed from the speakers. This time, we use more realistic filming techniques, more artistic than the original Forbidden Passion. Sophia suddenly ripped out the four-tube, blood-spattered Lyon's uniform, like dark spots on metal. "Take me out," she said, grabbing his wrist, her grip surprising him. "Now, I need to go to the clock shop." Lyon hesitated, then nodded. "Okay, I'll take you." The hospital fire escape smelled of mildew. The handrails were rusted. Lyon's coat wrapped around her shaking shoulders, the fabric smelling of mothballs and gun oil. Safe, warm. The neon hospital sign above the back door was half broken, leaving only HO. Rain pooled on the ground, like a tiny seine. "That's the clock shop," Lyon said, pointing to the ruins across the street. Only horror remained of the horlogerie sign. Broken clocks littered the rubble. I asked the elderly people nearby. They said a movie was filmed here once. Memories of the Seine. Sophia walked to the ruins, her finger brushing the weathered brick wall. There, hidden in the cracks, was a small snake mark, painted by Marcus's crew all those years ago. She suddenly remembered a line from Memories of the Seine, one that had been cut from the script. "When the clock strikes 12, I'll return the pearl to you." Lyon suddenly pulled something from his backpack, an old MP3 player, its plastic case covered in yellowed stickers. One read, "May 12, 1993. "I recorded this," he said, embarrassed. "The premiere of Memories of the Seine. I sat in the back row. I recorded the end credits music in your lines." Sophia took the MP3 and pressed play. Familiar music poured out, the Memories of the Seine end credits, mixed with faint dialogue. "When the clock strikes 12, I'll return the pearl to you." It was her voice, young, clear, full of hope for the future. "This is the uncut 47th minute," Lyon said, his voice thick. "I got it from a friend back then. You had so many lines." Marcus cut them all. He said, "Too artsy. Audiences won't care." Sophia closed her eyes. The MP3 played on, mixed with Lyon's breathing, warm, steady. She suddenly remembered Claire's text. She pulled out her phone. She'd been too scared to reply, but now she had courage. She typed, "I need your help. I want to hold a press conference. I want to expose Marcus and Victor's scandals, including the actress who disappeared back then." Claire replied, quickly, "I'll bring the evidence tomorrow. Testimonies from the victims, contracts proving Marcus and Victor's collusion. We'll make them pay." Sophia stared at the text and cried. Not the tearful laughter of before, but real release. Lyon said nothing, just handed her a tissue, printed with daisies, like the petals in his water glass. "I'll go with you to the press conference," Lyon said, his voice firm. Sophia nodded, handing him back the MP3. "Play the end credits again. I want to hear it." The music filled the quiet ruins. The rain stopped. The moon peeked through the clouds, silvering the rubble. Sophia knew that after tomorrow, she would no longer be the little snake they controlled. She would reclaim her pearl, and the light she'd once been. The light on the Seine. What happened next was like the ending of Memories of the Seine. Marcus and Victor's scandals were exposed, and they faced legal punishment. Emma's new Forbidden was pulled from screens. She quit acting. Sophia opened a small bookstore, selling old books and film DVDs, including the full, uncut version of Memories of the Seine, a film Real Lyon had helped her track down. In the bookstore window, a small antique clock sat, its hands forever stuck at 12. Next to it was the pearl necklace, sent to her later by Alan, with a note. "What I owed you back then, I return now. You'll always be the light on the Seine." Lyon often helped at the bookstore, still wearing his old military uniform, its cuffs frayed but warm. Sometimes they'd watch Memories of the Seine together. When they reached the scene where the characters parted at the dock, Sophia would always say, "When the clock strikes 12, I'll return the pearl to you." Lyon would smile and reply, "You don't have to wait anymore. The pearl's already home." Outside, the Seine glowed, just like Sophia had dreamed it would, all those years ago, illuminating every story that had once been unseen.